Hello everybody, welcome to another review. So I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by a legendary thrash metal band, Kreator, with Krushers of the World, with a K, not a C by the way. Kreator has a new record, is out, and I can't say I was really hyped for this year. We're not really doing good for the 16th, commencing the 16th, are we? We've just pretty much had lackluster album. What's going on, everybody? Because unfortunately Kreator's joining in the bandwagon here. The singles for me just weren't very interesting. They felt like they wanted to play the Kreator sound a lot safer. I feel like they're definitely the catchier songs for a reason. Like, these singles are just some of the most pretty much just loud choruses, and they're ones that you would remember more than anything else off the album, because you're not really getting too much of the more thrash sound, but rather you're getting a mixture of melodic death metal in there as well as your heavy metal and thrash. Matter of fact, the melodic death metal is quite heavily explored, because sometimes I feel like they're trying to imitate a band like In Flames, but putting in a lot more of this basically In Flames trying to do an impression of a thrash metal band. I kind of get that feel half the time from it. It's still got thrash elements, and I can't say the quality's really bad, but it's definitely an album where I feel like we're getting exhausted on the sound that Kreator's bringing to the modern era. Kreator's had some downright incredible albums, and my personal favourite for them is Pleasure to Kill. It is such an amazing heavy thrash metal record, and I don't know what's happened with Kreator now, but it just kind of feels like they're running out of steam, and I really want to see these guys turn it around and kind of release a really good album, because I feel like there's definitely the potential they have a good album in them, but we're not really seeing that when a lot of the writing just kind of becomes a bit more predictable. Matter of fact, the whole album is very predictable. As soon as I got into the first few songs, I already knew what Krushers of the World would sound like, and it's fine, it's not a bad song, but I mean, I don't think anything on here actually is bad. It's just rather that there's not really anything on here that's actually really good or screams out to be a fun Kreator track. Outside of Deathscream, which I actually feel like this one is probably my favourite, it stood out to me just for kind of being a bit more on the aggressive side. I like the chorus on this one. I just like how this one is just a bit more of a heavier sound, and I feel like Kreator just needed to kind of push that little bit of a heavier energy while keeping what worked with the thrash elements. There's some good guitar work, but I'm not really going to say it's anything outstanding or anything you haven't heard before. It kind of feels like we're getting yet again another Kreator album that doesn't necessarily at this point need to exist, because while you do get some good stuff, I'm just not quite a big fan of how it is going. And I know Loyal to the Grave was one I wasn't a big fan of first time, but at least this one actually grew on me. I think the chorus works well, and I kind of like the more melodic aspect into it, but it also still has its very heavy sound, and I'm quite liking it. I feel like at least the last few songs actually make up for it, and the first few songs aren't too bad. They were just decent singles with some good ideas, but something we've heard before dozens of times from the band. The middle way point is just where I kind of lose a bit of interest, like Barbarian to Psychotic Imperator, which, you know, these vary. There's some decent quality with them, but I just find songs like Blood of Our Blood and Combatants, yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, just to be just very weak. There's not really anything to pull you in with this. It just kind of feels like it's noise in your ear with this kind of thrash sound, and I'm wondering, how did Kreator kind of stumble with the last bunch of albums in thrash? But then we have Testament, who dropped one of the best thrash albums in a long time last year, and I don't know, maybe it's just that some bands managed to kind of find a middle ground, and I think that's what they need to find. Like, Testament's newest album, I don't think it's the best album Testament's done, but it is certainly good quality record, and one of my personal favourite albums of 2025 for sure. So I do wonder how Kreator could really get themselves out of this slump. It just feels like they have got creativity, but they are a bit burnt out on it, so they're kind of exploring a bit more this direction. And I know as you get older, you might shift to different writing. Some people might find that the very heavy sound they once had maybe isn't their cup of tea. I mean, it happens. It's just, you know, might get sick of the heavier sound, because they definitely still push it, but they're kind of leaning more into the mainstream sound, and that's not bad if it wasn't for the fact that I feel like you're getting the same song almost every time on this record. I think Kreator just needs to kind of push this one out. I felt like they had the idea this album wouldn't be as highly received as previous stuff, so they just kind of did it, whatever. They wanted to make it stand out a bit by changing the Krushers C to a K to make it feel unique, and it's a bit lackluster, just like the album art and just like the whole appeal of the record. Some good ideas. I think overall as a whole it's not bad. It's not even close to being a really bad album, but it's just not really close to being a really good album. It's perfect in the middle, and I think I have no other score than 2.5 out of 5 to give it. Not a bad album, I just really wish that they stood up their game. At least in my opinion, it's better than the other two albums I've talked about, like Soen and Kid Kapichi, because I feel like these albums definitely have their own problems that make them harder to listen to, and at least Kreator gives you some fun to go with it, albeit even if the songs are quite flawed. It's not a bad time in some way or shape or form. So hope you all enjoy, thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.